Welcome back. We hope you had a good lunch. As a dessert for you, the conference continues with a number of high-level addresses by representatives of previous organizing countries. First, we have Xavier Petel, the Prime Minister of Luxembourg, who has served in his office already from December 2013.
Dear friends, welcome to Tallinn. I'm sorry not being live present in Estonia today, and hello to all my Estonian friends. Yes, we speak about men's and equalities, and I have to admit one thing, I'm a feminist. Yes. This sounds strange. Why? For me it's normal. It's normal to be in favor of equal rights for everyone. It is terrible that in some of our countries, if you do efforts for women, you get a bonus for that. We had a discussion in my country. When we did for the elections, we wanted to have quotes or non-quotes. And some parties said, we will give more money to the one who will have quotes between men and women. I refuse that. I think you should be punished if you don't do it. You shouldn't get a benefit of doing it. Yes, it is terrible to make it understandable for some hardliners. But sometimes with money, they understand it easier. I would love that we shouldn't need to speak about that. But we all learned that with the COVID crisis, the women are even more hurt than men. And that more women will lose their job than men. And is it normal that if we look at salaries, it's 86% for women, if you see €1 for a man? Yes, and it is the reality. Even if we see that more women are able to get higher education than men. So yes, I'm a feminist. I'm in favor of being judged with what I do, with what I know, with what I'm able to, and not because I'm a man or a woman, because I'm Catholic, Muslim or Jewish, because I'm straight or gay, or because I'm left-wing or right-wing. I would love to be in a society where we wouldn't be able to have these differences in our society. And when we realize that even some political parties tries to divide us by gaining support, by dividing us. So yes, I'm feminist and I'm proud to be feminist. But to be honest, my wish that we wouldn't be needed anymore to speak about feminism, activism, of everything. But it starts in people's mind. And that's through education. Not only in school, but also behavior and exchange at home. So sometimes we will be able to educate our children in school, but sometimes we will be able to educate our families through the children. That's my wish. So I wish to all of you a good conference, to exchange. You don't need to be feminist or not a feminist, but at least to see and to realize that we are all equal. All the best.
That was very nice. The second address comes to us from Dr. Franziska Giffey. She's the Federal Minister for Family Affairs, Senior Citizens, Women and Youth, and has served in her office since March 2018, having previously worked as the District Mayor of Berlin's district of Neukölln.
Dear colleagues, dear participants, I'm sending my best regards from the Ministry of Gender Equality in Berlin in Germany to Tallinn and to everybody who is following on the internet. I'm very happy to be able to contribute to your conference this way. Men today face manifold and complex expectations. They are to be emotionally open and sympathetic and at the same time strong and manly. They are to be successful at work and at the same time caring fathers contributing their fair share to managing the household and the upbringing of the children. All these expectations may lead men to feeling overcharged. Many find it difficult to speak about this, as this does not fit their self-concept or traditional gender stereotypes. We believe that gender equality policy has to take into account both the perspective of girls, women and mothers, and that of boys, men and fathers. There should be no competition between the two. Instead, they belong together. Only when both sides are respected and addressed, cooperative gender equality can be achieved and be sustainable. Actively including boys and men into gender equality policies, for us that means equal opportunities for everyone. On this behalf, we have set off the series of these international conferences 8 years ago. Gender equality concerns men and women. Therefore, we need policies that enable both to find the best balanced reconciliation between family, care duties and work. In Germany, we have just recently passed a comprehensive national gender equality strategy. We have also compiled the first dossier that addresses men in particular. Because we want to open up new perspectives. For self-confident men living lives determined by themselves and not by gender stereotypes. For a modern society where women and men cooperate on a level playing field. And last but not least, we have made gender equality one of our priorities during the EU presidency. I would like to thank the Estonian government for holding this conference, and I would like to wish all of you, whether you are attending in person or via internet, a lively event full of new insights. Thank you very much and greetings from Berlin.
And the third address comes to us from Austria and is presented by Susanne Raab, Federal Minister for Women and Integration since January this year.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear participants. It's my pleasure to address you today at the 5th International Conference on Men and Equal Opportunities. First of all, I would like to thank the Estonian Ministry of Social Affairs for organizing this event, particularly during the current challenges because of the COVID-19 pandemic. In 2014, Austria had the pleasure to host this conference in Vienna. Focusing on more equality through active involvement of fathers, the conference aimed to bring about a change in awareness and motivate men to make use of their existing rights. Men who care is the focus of this year's conference, and I think it is more topical than ever. The current pandemic showed us once again how much our societies depend on care work, regardless whether it is institutional care work or care work happening in families. At present, women carry out the bulk of care work within the family, thus often shouldering even more work in the current situation. This has become particularly evident during the COVID-19 pandemic, but also drawn the public eye on this issue. Despite these challenges, studies also showed that more men are primarily involved in childcare at home than before the pandemic. Now we have to build on these positive developments and further encourage and empower men to continue equally sharing the care responsibilities with women. This is a very important step towards strengthening gender equality. At the same time, the framework and conditions have to enable both women and men to reconcile their work and private life. As Minister for Women and Integration, this is one of my main concerns. An important measure to strengthen the participation of fathers in childcare was the introduction of the so-called Papa Month in Austria. Since September 2019, all employed fathers are now entitled to take time off work when their child is born. Realizing gender equality depends on the cooperation and support of all actors in society. I would like to emphasize once more that men are essential allies in this regard. Creating equal opportunities for all is not a zero-sum situation. To achieve it, we need both women and men. And when it is achieved, it benefits both women and men equally. With this in mind, I wish you all an inspiring and successful conference. Thank you very much for your attention.
The fourth address also comes to us from Austria and will be presented by Rudolf Anschober, the Federal Minister of Social Affairs, Healthcare and Consumer Protection of the Republic of Austria, also in office since January.
Sehr geehrte Damen und Herren, ich freue mich, als österreichischer Sozial- und Gesundheitsminister einige Worte in Bezug auf die bedeutenden Themen dieser Konferenz an Sie richten zu dürfen. Die Gestaltung gerechter Geschlechterverhältnisse erfordert ausgesprochen vielfältige Anstrengungen, denn es gibt noch sehr, sehr viele Baustellen. Die Verteilung familiärer Pflege- und Betreuungsarbeit zum Beispiel, bestehende geschlechtsspezifische Einkommensunterschiede und damit auch gravierende Unterschiede bei den Pensionen als Folge. Im Fokus stehen hier unter anderem die Vereinbarkeit von Beruf und Familie, aber nicht zuletzt auch die Bereiche Gewaltprävention und Gesundheitspolitik. Überall hier ist es wesentlich, die genderspezifischen Perspektiven in den Mittelpunkt der politischen Lösungsansätze zu stellen. Die Berücksichtigung der jeweiligen unterschiedlichen Lebenswelten und Lebenserfahrungen von Frauen und Männern in unserer Gesellschaft ist der Schlüssel für eine erfolgreiche Gleichstellungspolitik. Die heutige Konferenz widmet sich dem Themenbereich Männer- und Gleichstellungspolitik und in diesem Zusammenhang möchte ich heute gerne insbesondere auf das Konzept Caring Masculinities hinweisen. Wie können Männer motiviert werden, vermehrt pflegerische Tätigkeiten zu übernehmen, um damit ein gerechtes Geschlechterverhältnis aktiv mitzugestalten? In diesem Zusammenhang möchte ich Ihnen ein Projekt aus Österreich vorstellen, das es bereits seit dem Jahr 2008 gibt, den Boys Day. Ziel dieser Initiative ist es, den Anteil von Männern im sogenannten männeruntypischen erzieherischen und pflegerischen Berufen zu erhöhen und den Abbau von Geschlechterstereotypen voranzutreiben. Handlungsbedarf gibt es nach wie vor. Noch immer handelt es sich bei der Pflege um einen sogenannten weiblichen Berufssektor. Zu 73% wird Pflege von Frauen erbracht, sei es im privaten Umfeld, durch pflegende Angehörige, aber auch im professionellen beruflichen Setting. Viele Jugendliche wissen nicht, dass sie ein Talent für soziale Berufe haben oder lassen sich etwa durch Gruppendruck oder von der Familie von ihrer bevorzugten Berufswahl abschrecken. Im Rahmen des Boys Day, Aktionstages, wird den Burschen die Möglichkeit gegeben, von männlichen Vorbildern, sogenannten Role Models, in Berufe wie Kranken- und Altenpfleger, Kindergärtner oder Volksschullehrer, so wie ich einer gewesen bin, eingeführt zu werden. Das Kennenlernen der Berufe fördert Akzeptanz gegenüber jenen Männern, die sich für diese Berufe entscheiden und weckt auch bei manchen Burschen die Erkenntnis, womöglich selbst dafür wirklich geeignet zu sein. Mittlerweile nehmen im gesamten Bundesgebiet jährlich über 5000 Burschen und rund 400 Einrichtungen teil. Kindergärten zum Beispiel, Volksschulen, Senioren- und Pflegeheime, Krankenhäuser und Pflegeschulen. Etwa 80% der teilnehmenden Burschen finden es völlig normal, wenn Männer in den Berufen arbeiten, die sie durch den Boys Day nun kennengelernt haben. Selbst den kennengelernten Beruf zu ergreifen, ist immerhin noch für 30% der männlichen Jugendlichen eine Option. Auch medial findet der Boys Day großen Anklang. Wir haben die Erfahrung gemacht, dass der Boys Day in der gesamten österreichischen Bevölkerung große Akzeptanz und Befürwortung findet. Der Boys Day ist aber keine reine Berufsorientierungsveranstaltung, denn in den Boys Day Workshops, dem zweiten Standbein neben dem Aktionstag, haben die Schüler die Möglichkeit, sich mit Fragen rund um eine zeitgemäße männliche Identität und eigener Lebensplanung zu beschäftigen. Durch Diskussionen in der Gruppe sollen veraltete Verhaltensmuster und Rollenbilder hinterfragt und Alternativen aufgezeigt werden. Geleitet werden die Workshops von zumeist männlichen Sozialarbeitern mit Erfahrung in der geschlechtersensiblen Jugendarbeit. Es gilt, Burschen auch dabei zu unterstützen, ihre eigene Identität auszubilden und dadurch problematischen Stereotypen, Handlungsweisen vorzubeugen. Hier geht es etwa darum, aufzuzeigen, dass Gewalt nicht als Konfliktlösung im sozialen Nahbereich zu sehen oder die Unterdrückung von Frauen eben nicht zu befürworten ist. Zudem soll den Burschen soziale und emotionale Kompetenz im Hinblick auf die Herausforderungen einer sich rasant verändernden Arbeitswelt mitgegeben werden. Mit den Maßnahmen des Boys Day wollen wir auch erreichen, dass Männer im privaten Bereich mehr Pflegearbeit übernehmen, von der Kindererziehung bis zur Pflege der älteren Verwandtschaft. Ich würde mich sehr freuen, wenn ich mit diesem Impuls die eine oder andere Anregung für weiterführende Diskussionen geben konnte und wünsche allen Teilnehmenden eine spannende Konferenz und Ihnen vielen Dank für Ihre Aufmerksamkeit.
And last but not least, we have the address from Åsa Lindhagen, Minister for Gender Equality in Sweden. Among other things, she has been in charge of children's rights and gender equality since 2019.
Thank you for the kind invitation to speak on this very important occasion, the 5th ICMEO conference. My name is Åsa Lindhagen and I am the Swedish Minister for Gender Equality with responsibility for anti-discrimination and anti-segregation. The last edition of this conference was hosted by the Swedish government in Stockholm with co-funding from the Nordic Council of Ministers. Now I am honored and very happy to attend the conference when being hosted by our Estonian colleagues. As you might know, Sweden has a feminist government. In practice, this means a commitment to building a society in which women and men, girls and boys can live their lives equal and to their full potential. We are not there yet, not in Sweden or in Europe. Women and men, girls and boys still do not have access to resources and power on equal terms. This is extra important in the current pandemic. It is evident that the effects of COVID-19 is widening gender inequalities. As we all know, the burden of the crisis is likely to hit women and men differently. We are moving forward, but too slow. As ministers for gender equality in Europe, we play a central role in leading the change for gender equality and to involve men in the process. We have a joint responsibility to push for better opportunities and a gender equal society. Men and gender equality is a field prioritized by the Swedish government. Men needs to be engaged, take responsibility, show solidarity and participate in the struggle and process of change. Men need to become more involved in sharing unpaid domestic work, in breaking the gender segregation of the labor market, and in preventing violence against women. I am convinced that gender equality contributes to a better life for both men and women. Therefore, it is essential to raise matters that concern men and boys when we make our policies on gender equality. Let me share some concrete challenges. When we look at education, we know that boys are underachieving in school. Many boys think that being a real guy means being tough and that you should not seem to be interested in school. This needs to change. We also know that we will need more men in female-dominated professions such as childcare and healthcare. For this, we need to challenge traditional norms that hinder boys and men from that path. We also need to reach more boys and men when it comes to sexual and reproductive rights and education in that field. Preventing violence is also very important. Men need to speak out against gender-based violence, and it's crucial to involve men and boys in violence prevention measures. Combating honor-related violence and oppression, as well as trafficking in human beings for sexual purposes, are other parts of this work.